This is Nerd News Cafe. Stir it up with Matt, Landon, and Justin.
Get ready to stir it up. It is round 38 special.
38 special.
It's special.
It's the 38 special.
The special. Did you want the cheese? This is Matt.
This is Justin.
And I'm the king of nonsense, Landon Doan.
As always.
I'm consistent, if anything.
There you go.
I don't know. There's a lot of nonsense going on. I think you've got some competitors is all I'm going to say right now.
Yeah, that is true, especially in this news cycle. It seems like every day one guy in particular is challenging me for my crown. You know what? I'm going to say I am the president of the U.S. Virgin Islands, Landon Doan.
Wow.
Topical, yo.
Good. I love it.
Well, it's Thursday, guys. I hope you're feeling good about yourself. I am. Always. Every day. Feeling good about myself.
Because you wake up and you're you.
I wake up and piss awesomeness.
I would get that checked out. I don't think you're supposed to piss off.
You know, it does have a tart smell.
Wait, do you eat a lot of asparagus before you pee awesomeness?
I can't even spell asparagus, let alone eat it.
I'm surprised you can pronounce asparagus.
Asparagus? So it was an interesting Tuesday. I hope you guys enjoyed that show. As always, we are coming strong like coffee up in here, but we don't have any drinks. We're not doing that. It's not Thursday format.
That's
Speak
right.
for yourself. I have a piping hot cup of coffee right now.
Is it still ass Dunkin' Donuts?
No, it's just regular Dunkin' Donuts.
Is it expired?
Like I said, it's still regular.
Their business has expired.
No, they have in-date coffee, I'm sure. I just need to take my ass to the grocery store and buy some.
Well, you can't get past that ice section.
Oh, yeah. Spending up all the money on the discount ice, sparkling ice drinks.
Sparkling ice.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do a comic book corner. I know we got some hot and streamy, and I definitely got a roast, but I think you want to share the roast coming up.
Well, you know, I'm just going to piggyback on it. I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
You just want to ride along?
Yeah, I'm going to. This will be a ride along.
Okay.
Program.
Because I got a little bit of a ride along on hot and streamy with some stuff that premiered.
I will tell you, this comic book corner is going to be preempted because I've seen a few movies that I want to talk about.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So today it is Justin's movie reviews.
What the hell?
I'm not telling you need to edit something, but I'm definitely going to tell you need to workshop that.
My son was dying to see the newest Lego movie, Lego Ninjago.
I got to get ready for this.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh. So we did go Friday evening over to our local AMC Classic to view the. Actually, it was Thursday, and it was an empty theater. We had the place to ourselves.
That's the first good sign.
Yeah, was not a good sign. I want to say Lego movies have set the bar pretty high.
Yes.
So the Lego movie was great. It was honestly one of my favorite kind of stop motion classics that I've seen in a long time. For me, the Lego Batman movie was good, but it wasn't quite as good as the Lego movie, and we talked about why. It was a little bit kind of superficial, fun, silly goofiness, and there's a place for that, but there wasn't quite as much emotional depth to the story. And I know it's a kids movie; it doesn't necessarily.
But
need
it was
still good.
in your property. It was
I
in
know.
your favorite property.
Well, maybe that's why I even held it to like a higher standard too, because it was
it wasn't a Nolan Lego movie,
right. It wasn't a Nolan.
The
Lego
dark,
movie.
gritty reboot that we all, as Landon always tells us about.
Exactly.
I will tell you though that Lego Ninjago is definitely ranked third out of the three, in my opinion.
So this has the Back to the Future syndrome.
Yeah, they've gone well. Yeah, the third one, and I don't think that they're done. We'll probably get more Lego movies, but I will tell you that it's got its moments. It's fun. I don't think the soundtrack is quite as good as what we had with like the Lego movie. I hold it up to that standard.
Was that great?
It wasn't. I hold it to that
standard
standard because the Lego movie had a great soundtrack.
Did they try and recreate the "Everything Is Awesome" moment where they have like their signature song where everybody just breaks out into it?
No, this one they didn't do that. This one really used more kind of well-known songs. So it was pulling from just like pop culture songs.
So they didn't use "Happy Birthday."
Happy Birthday was not in this movie, although birthday was a theme in the movie. I'm surprised they didn't play Happy Birthday. It was Lloyd's birthday.
Lloyd.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jackie Chan's a voice. Actually, the movie starts out live action.
Okay.
And Jackie Chan's actually in the
Really?
movie. Yeah, it starts out live action just for like the first 5 minutes.
Does he go on and then stop and go, see the fauna at the end at some point?
He does not.
Oh, I just thought he would try to self-promote.
but he plays he plays the master, the sensei, if you will. And he does a good job. I mean, honestly, it was fine, but it just wasn't. Here's what I think. Hot take.
No Cobra Kai.
It was basically a retelling of the Lego movie in a different way.
Oh.
Because it's a father-son kind of a story.
Gotcha.
They still do, like, the city's under attack by some evil genius, and it has to be stopped. And so I'll tell you, I think for Lego movies to move forward and continue to be unique and interesting, I think they have to go in a totally different
Spaceship?
direction. Maybe space. I was actually thinking it'd be cool to get like a Lego zombie apocalypse kind of movie.
Ooh.
Because they could do a lot of silly
The
things.
dark,
like,
gritty Lego reboot.
no, it doesn't
with
have to be
all
dark
the
and gritty. It can be silly. It can be like an Ernest
I
Scared
would-
Stupid kind of thing, but Legos.
Well, don't
That's
we
terrifying, by the way.
Have, very true. Don't we have... it resonated again in my head when I said it. You going... I guess we have enough zombie genre shows that they could grasp Lego characters too, because they could do Walking Dead characters in there like they did with the Lego movie, pulling characters
Yeah.
from every same style genre.
And they had a set for a while that was like Monster Hunters, Lego Monster Hunters. There was Dracula, werewolf.
Oh my
there
god!
was-
If they tried to
That could be cool.
spoof what I guess Warner Brothers is trying to
right, they
attempt
could
to
do
make
that.
real,
Yeah, they could do that.
that
would
be
fun.
Monster Squad Lego style.
A Lego Dark Universe.
Hilarious! I would watch that in a moment.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
that would actually get further than the actual Dark Universe movies would.
Hey, we've only gotten one. I mean, granted,
And that one canceled several. So
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it wasn't the best thing I'd seen all year, but it wasn't bad.
Well, I just it's dropping off a little bit for me. I will say.
Ninjago's
was-
always had a problem. I think that property has had a huge problem getting a foothold in what kids care and want to watch.
Well, a big thing in the series, and my son is a huge fan of the series.
right.
A big thing in the series they do is spinjitzu, and they don't even use that in the movie. It doesn't exist. They reference it one time, but they don't use it. All the characters, it is kind of a reboot. It's not like building from the series. They're kind of just rebooting because the series told a different story of how of Lloyd and Garmadon.
Yeah.
So this story's different. I don't know. It was just kind of boring. There were points that I honestly was looking at my watch going, I wonder how much longer this is going to be. And I hate that. I mean, that's a pretty yeah.
That's
that's
a pretty
a
bad
that's a
thing.
telling time.
Yeah.
And also, I want to throw this out there. I don't think this is a smart name for a movie because, yeah, the people who want to see this are going to know how to pronounce it. But to, Joe Q Public, what's the Ninjago movie?
This is true.
What's
I didn't
that?
think about that. We'll say a ninja.
But I will say, Kumail Nanjiani's in this, and of course, he always brings a smile to my face.
He's great
Yeah.
in everything.
Yeah. And speaking of that, one of the other movies I saw this past week was The Big Sick, and it was amazing.
Really?
I'm just going to tell you guys, it's a romantic comedy. If you have a chance, we were talking about Gambit and Deadpool being great Valentine's Day movies. This movie would be a great date night kind of
Okay.
movie. You can get it in the Red Box. It is so good and emotional. Be ready. The
nothing
waterworks
but
may
good
come
things
at you. Yeah, it's really good. It's
Good.
it's about the real life story of Kumail and his wife Emily V. Gordon, how they got together. Mm-hmm. And Kumail plays himself in the movie, but everybody else is casted.
Casted, yeah.
Ray Romano, Holly Hunter are in the movie. Bo Burnham is in the movie.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a comedian. He does a lot. He writes his own kind of musical kind of.
It sounds familiar, but
humor
I
songs.
can't put a face with it.
But he's good. He's in there, and I really like that movie a lot. Now it is Halloween time, so I want to talk about a couple scary movies I watched.
Uh-oh.
I watched Hush, and
Okay.
I watched It Follows.
Okay.
Neither one of those were very scary. Unfortunately, I was wanting to be spooked. I want to feel like, this is eerie. It's kind of weird. I don't want to walk around my house in the dark. Neither one of them did it for me.
Hush is the one where the guy's creeping around on the deaf woman, right?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. So she's deaf.
Just seemed boring to me.
Yeah, and it. Well, the problem is it escalates to a point. Well, I think it hits its peak too early.
Yeah.
So he kind of he doesn't realize she's deaf right away, but he ends up like she's doing like a Skype call, like a video Skype call, and he's in the house and he's making noise and stuff. She's not reacting. So he kind of walks up behind her, and then she can see on her screen.
Yeah.
So then, but that happens like really early in the movie, and then he like takes his mask off and reveals his face to her, like because she's like, "Just go away. I haven't seen you. Just leave me alone." And he's like, he takes his mask off. Now you've seen my face, so now it's a thing. I'm gonna have to kill you. But all that happens like 15 minutes, 20 minutes into the movie, and then the rest of it is her just trying to avoid being killed by this dude. So the whole like suspense piece of it. It doesn't last that long.
It sounds like a shitty version of The Purge.
Kind of. Yeah, it is kind of like that.
Because they're like, oh, we got to
Yeah.
protect ourselves from the house. Don't
Yeah.
let anybody in. Oh, somebody got in.
Yep.
And then the rest of the movie is don't die.
Yeah, that's what it is.
As opposed to the not version of The Purge.
Well, The Purge wasn't that bad.
Here's the thing about The Purge. Yeah, I'm with you, Landon. I feel like I did not care about the family that was protecting themselves. Number one, they had so much money and they couldn't build a better door.
Yeah.
And number two, it was just boring. I didn't care. I didn't care about the dad. I mean, don't
No,
get
I
me
didn't
wrong.
care about him.
I didn't care about any of them. I didn't care about any of them except for the hobo that got in accidentally.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, that guy. What? Oh, you're gonna tie him up? Well, I guess he came to a better place here. I just felt so bad for that guy.
It was a fine enough premise, but yeah, I mean, like, I did not care one iota about any of those characters. It was just like, kind of like Jay is like, all right, looking at the watch, how much longer is
Oh
this?
yeah, I
And
can't
then
tell
there's
you.
like 7 sequels now.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Ugh. And it doesn't get any better. Like I tried to watch the next one in that thing. I'm gonna sit down and try to watch them all three at the thing so I can really not care. But that second one, I couldn't even get through the first 20 minutes. I was like, ugh.
I guess I just really like the premise of
I
that
like the
movie.
world. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The world has so many possibilities, but we just keep falling flat with the scripts.
Yeah.
And granted, I haven't
It's not
seen the
enough
third one.
purpose.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so the last one I watched was It Follows, and this is the one where I'd heard a lot about this, and I've actually heard good things about it.
I've heard a lot of good things about this, so I'm
And-
interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be the premise is that they pass this curse between people by sleeping with other people. So
Oh, yeah, the STD curse.
So the demon is coming for you. The demon's coming for you until you sleep with someone, and then it's going after them. But if it kills them, it'll come back for you, and it goes back down the line. So you have to basically
Keep buying prostitutes.
The chain of events has to. You have to keep on doing it with people to pass it along. And
It's not a horrible curse. Is it really a curse?
there are
We
moments,
call
and
that
it,
college.
and it no, it really is. It is like a cautionary STD movie. Like go have sex, and something's going to come and kill you.
Look out, here comes Smitty, everybody.
Yeah,
If it doesn't come back to you, though. Well, I guess it could.
Okay, I guess it's herpes then.
it's a boomerang.
There you go.
But there were a couple creepy things in this movie, but again, it was one of those. So the idea is you have to if you have the curse, you want to hop in your car and drive really far away because it has to walk to you, and it walks very slowly. So
Well, then move to England. Boom, problem
I was
solved.
about to say, cross the ocean.
I guess it could probably walk underwater and get to you eventually, but
Ghosts can't walk underwater. That's ridiculous.
That's a stupid premise.
it kind of is a stupid premise.
So you
This is
learn
one
how
of
to
those
fly and
movies
you get on a
where-
plane and you just go from one continent to the next.
Nothing gets really resolved, and
they
it just
don't
kind of goes
disperse,
on,
yeah.
and it's just it is what it is.
So it's not like a.
I actually fell asleep during this movie.
Oh,
for-
you weren't even checking the watch.
for like 10 minutes.
Checking your pajamas.
I was checking the back of my eyelids. So
It doesn't resolve like Supernatural. I can't watch this.
no resolution. So I don't have a good recommendation. If you're going to watch any of these movies I mentioned, go watch The Big Sick. I know it's not Valentine's Day.
I want to jump in here since we're talking about movies we watched and wanting to be scared, and we're going to cross the streams, and this is going to carry us over to Hot and Streamy here in a second.
Nice.
It was recently Friday the 13th, and I decided to partake the holiday and watch me some Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
So, of course, I picked the worst ones, Jason X and Freddy versus Jason.
Your Twitter was quite the read.
Oh, like Jason X. Let's start with that. It's like the
God.
cast actively took bad overacting lessons, and then while doing it, the director is like, you know what? I need more of that. Do what you're doing and turn it to 11. Like we talked about unlikable characters in The Purge. I was actively rooting for Jason to kill pretty much every one of these idiots in Jason X, and wow, I thought this movie was bad. It was way worse than I remembered. But it got to the part where it was campy and it was stupid. So I was okay with it. Freddy versus Jason, on the other hand. Now, this one might be on me because I could only find the AMC version. So
Oh God.
it's always
God.
fun
Oh,
God.
when they blur out the boobs and the F word, especially
They
in a
blur out
Friday
the
the
F word?
13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I couldn't make it through that movie. I saw it in theaters, but I tapped out. So
I'll make an omission and say that I was very inebriated when I saw it in theaters, and it was probably the funniest thing I remember watching at the time.
I was going to say that would probably enhance your
It,
experience.
it did. I remember laughing to the point of not being able to breathe and tears out of my eyes, and I don't think that was appropriate at the theater. But hey, you know what? I don't care.
Yeah, the point when Freddy Krueger ripped the chick from Destiny's Child's nose off,
Yep.
that was pretty funny.
I think I laughed the hardest, like almost threw up when the helium tank hit somebody or something like that, and it was so stupid. I think they leaned into the camp in that one, but they were like trying to be campy, horrific.
Yeah.
They were trying too hard. It was like when Snakes on a Plane purposely decided we are going to make a cult movie. No, you can't make a cult movie. It just happens.
It just
We are
happens.
going
It's
to make
usually-
a campy movie. No, you can't make a campy movie. It just happens.
Yeah.
As Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, it's an accident. Well, I guess that's a good point, but like Evil Dead, I think they were really trying to make a scary
They were.
movie.
The first one was supposed
The
to be a
first one
legitimate
is.
horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had all the practical effects. You know, they tried their best, and people watch it and go, "What is this?" And then the second one, they kind of are like, I don't know if it was the time that they made it, but it was a horror movie because there are some pretty nasty scenes in there. One of my favorites is "I'll swallow your soul." I tell people that all the time. I put it in my emails, and I'll swallow your soul.
That's actually how he ends his emails.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, thank you. I'll swallow your soul.
Yeah, it's like, man, this conversation was going so nice right up until the end where Matt said it was going to eat my soul.
So, but that one kind of had some funny parts into it, and then of course Army of Darkness was just as goofy and
Yeah.
campy as they could possibly be, and they were okay with it. And those things have cult followings. Not Snakes on a Plane. I don't see people with T-shirts and talking about it or wanting another one or anything like that. So
I actually own a Snakes on the Plane T-shirt, so
That's
but,
okay.
But that was when the movie came out, and it's like, oh, this is gonna be funny. Then you actually go see it. Oh, they tried way too hard.
it actually is Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there was a scene where a guy got bit on the ding dong by a snake, so there's that. Not many movies bring that to the table. The ding dong biting table. Stay away from that table now that I mention it.
I wanted to recommend a better plane movie, but I am at this
Air
moment.
Force One,
Ooh,
Airplane.
that is a good one.
Air Bud.
But I just watched it in the cardio theater, and it is so hilarious. And I don't know why I laugh at it, but it's Liam Neeson, and he's an air marshal. Mm-hmm. It's
Nonstop.
Nonstop. That movie is hilarious. And the reason it's hilarious is because if you want to see Liam Neeson in the later years when he starts like losing his mind and Alzheimer kicks in, but he thinks he's all those characters, that's what this movie is. It's hilarious. That's not what the movie's about, but that's what it is.
I haven't seen Freddy vs. Jason since it was in the theaters. I remember enjoying watching it, but I think it might have just been because I was with a bunch of people and we were all just laughing at it, having
Yeah.
a good time. I don't think I've ever seen Jason X. Might be one of the only Jasons I've never
I
seen.
feel like the Rob Zombie Halloween is probably a good one to recommend.
You think so?
I remember it being really good, and the only reason I enjoyed it, I think, I mean, it's got some scary moments, but the reason I enjoyed it, number one, the first Halloween's good, but it's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
This one has a backstory for, I know we
for
really love
Michael Myers,
backstories,
yeah.
but Michael Myers, like, you see why this guy loses his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his home life is awful.
Yeah,
You want his parents to die.
yeah, that's true. That was pretty bad. I'll tell you, it's not. I don't know. I don't think you'd call it like a scary movie, but it's disturbing. I still like feel uncomfortable watching House of a Thousand Corpses?
I am uncomfortable, but at the same time, I don't really care because I owned it and watched it. I had a buddy who would watch it daily.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, are we watching this again? You know how it ends.
Yeah.
So
It has moments in it that to me are just like real disturbing.
I think it's more uncomfortable for me than it is disturbing. Like a lot of, especially now and some of the stuff I've already seen, it's like, ugh. Yeah. I didn't like
Plus,
that
Devil's
other one.
Reject was a better movie.
Yeah, that one was pretty messed up. Now that one's like, ugh, I can't watch that more than the one time I saw it. Yeah.
So there you go. Have a Rob Zombie fest.
He does good horror. I'm not gonna lie, the guy has got it down. He does good horror movies.
He's good at horror.
And his wife's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She is in it.
Mm-hmm. And all of them, I do believe. She's got that awful laugh. Whatever that cackle is she does.
It's great for horror.
Awful.
Well, speaking of Friday the 13th, Landon, you didn't just watch the movies, did you? You tried.
No, I did. Yeah, that's right. I guess this is the part where we segue into my Peter Frampton Talk Box Hot and Streamy sound effect. God, it gets worse every week. Yes, this past Friday the 13th, there was a physical copy of Friday the 13th, the game, that was released into stores. We've previously talked about this game when it first came out. Up until this past Friday, it was a digital-only download available in Steam, the PlayStation Network, and Xbox Live. Now you can go to Best Buy, Walmart, wherever you get your games, $40 on the shelf, and it comes with DLC that you can't get in the digital copy. But what I also like, the DLC they introduced, they just give to the digital players for free. They introduced the Jarvis House, which is the biggest map so far in this game. It really feels different from the other maps you've played previously in the versions that have come out beforehand. But you said I tried to play, didn't you, Jay?
I did say that.
Yeah, because unfortunately, you might remember when we've talked about this game prior, I talked about how the servers weren't exactly the greatest, aka they didn't work. And they had fixed that. I believe it's produced by Gun Media or made by Gun Media. And they built up the servers and they'd been stable up until this point. I think with the introduction of the physical copy, it put stress on the servers that they weren't expecting. So it felt like the game kind of took a step backwards in the server aspect and being able to play the game aspect, because this is still a strictly online only game. They haven't fixed the bug where if the host leaves, the game just ends for everybody. So that was one thing that happened to me. I was waiting, like I was trying to find a lobby for 30 minutes and I finally get into one. And we're about 90 seconds into the game and the host quits and boom, kicks everybody out back to the main menu. And you have to start the process all over again.
Yeah.
Like I tried to play Friday the 13th of the game on Friday the 13th itself for probably a solid 4 hours. I think I played maybe 3 games.
Man,
Yeah,
that is not a good game to time ratio.
No, that's a horrible ratio. And it's really unfortunate because the games that I did get to play, not counting the one where some bling blong drops out immediately, like I was fortunate to get on the Jarvis House map, and just going around looking at it, it looks way cool. It feels way different than anything else prior to the game that had come out. So I'm disappointed in that aspect, but I'm hoping Gun Media will either bolster their servers or people who jumped into the game to see what it was about, they'll, drop out so players can, use the servers again. I'm going to echo what I said about it when we talked about this game previously. When it works, it is such a fun experience. This is the closest movie to game adaptation I can think of, because when you're playing this, it really feels like you're playing a Friday the 13th game. You're a counselor who is pretty much helpless against Jason. All you can do is hide. And yeah, there are ways you can kill Jason, but it's like somebody has to get Jason's mom's sweater, and Tommy Jarvis has to be there with a machete, and you have to line it up just right. I mean, you can kill Jason, but in the games that I've played, I've never seen it happen. So it really feels like the Friday the 13th experience. And once you die, you can then go around and watch different counselors as they try to get away from Jason. So it does turn into a Friday the 13th movie. I mean, the feel from movie to game is spot on. But unfortunately, the servers are still the biggest issue with this game, and the bug of, the host dropping out and kicking everybody out. I really wish they would fix that. So if you can get the servers to work, I recommend it still. It's $40 digitally, $40 physically. Check it out. But again, come on, Gun. We really want to like this game. Fix the servers or give us that single player mode you've been teasing and talking about so we can do single player Jason or we can do single player Counselor, even if that's an option, just so we have something for when the servers crap out. Because like I said, I was really looking forward to getting in and playing some Friday the 13th. I was even actually going to stream it. I threw out a link on my Twitter and I got one game in and then it never happened. So I had to call my stream off. And that's frustrating. And when the game works, it's fun. But the problem is it doesn't work every time like it should at this point. So I don't.
Well, the good news is that they've shown that they're really trying to work on things. I mean, it sucks that they haven't corrected their issues yet, and that there's still things going on like the server issue. But I will say I feel confident that they're gonna work this out to where it's going to be stable more often than not, and you're going to be able to get into games quicker. And that's just speculation, and I'm just saying that based on the fact that they've shown that they're trying their best to address issues in the past. So.
Yeah, they very much are listening to the community. They're listening to complaints, and they are trying to fix what they can. So I do got to give it to the makers of this game for that. And it is unfortunate because this was a big day for Friday the 13th, the game, because obviously it was Friday the 13th, and the physical copy dropped. So, I mean, it's like there was a lot of buzz around this game. And the servers just like stopped it dead in its tracks. So, and I know this is a terrible business model. I'm hoping once some people move away from the game, the servers will be more stable. Or, I don't know, maybe fix your servers.
Right. Yeah, that would be the other option.
Yeah.
Right?
That's just tragic that you have to hope for, people to drop out of a game for you to be able to play it legitimately instead of going, oh, hey, the more the merrier.
And it really is counterintuitive in a game like this because you want the community to be talking with each other. You want the community to, work together because that's the only way you can kill Jason. Like I said, you have to get several things. You have to check off that box just to get to the point where you can try and kill Jason. So this is a game where you do have to coordinate, and you would want the community to grow. That way you have more options. But it's like the only way I think you can legit play anytime you want is that you have 7 other friends that you have like, all right, we're going to play at this time on this date for this many hours. Join up on me in a private server or a private party, and we can play a private match. I feel like that's the only way you can legit play when you want to is when you coordinate it with several friends. And that's unfortunate because, like I said, it's like I really want to like this game. And when it works, I do. But it doesn't work enough, unfortunately, at this point. But like Jay said, fingers crossed that they're going to, fix this because they have been listening to the community. They fixed a lot. They got rid of the team killing, which was a big problem we've talked previously on, and we talked about them fixing it. So I'm hoping as the process continues to move forward, there will be more server stability. And for the most part, with the exception of, some summer skins that you can buy for, $2 for your counselor, whatever, every piece of DLC they've put out is for free. You can download that. They give it to you. It's not behind a paywall. So I got to give it to the publisher in that aspect. But at the same time, come on, I really want to like your game. Please, please, please fix your servers.
Yeah.
Do it.
Just do it.
You can do it.
And in Just Do It, I just finished Destiny 2's first raid, the Leviathan, last night.
Nice.
Yeah. I can confirm it is just like the previous raids in First Destiny. It is a lot of puzzles you got to figure out, a lot of coordination, and it's a lot of, all right, we're just going to run this and die a few times so we can understand the mechanics of this fight. I mean, it really feels like an old school World of Warcraft raid where you're figuring out the mechanics of a fight and everybody has to do their job or the entire team wipes. I like that aspect. And like the Leviathan ship itself is one of the most visually pleasing things in the entire game of Destiny. It's like such an opulent looking place. It's like all gold and regal and stuff. Super cool. But again, you do need to find a group independently because they've yet to introduce the matchmaking to the raid aspect of Destiny 2. So you're going to have to, hook up with your clan or your buddies that you played Destiny 1 with to, go and do this. But if you have the option to and the group to do it, highly recommend it. And plus, there's some really dadgum good gear and fun boss fights too. So thumbs up, impressed with what I've seen from Bungie's Destiny 2 so far.
How long did it take you to complete Leviathan?
Again, going back to what I said about the World of Warcraft raid, much like World of Warcraft, you don't have to do it all in one setting.
Okay.
It resets Tuesday nights, it resets Tuesday morning, I should say. So we did the first part, I want to say Wednesday, and then we came back last night, and I want to say we finished the rest of the raid, and this was with me learning the fights as we go, and with somebody else who was new with the group. I think maybe like 4 or 5 hours, maybe. Like, in the scheme of things, it really wasn't that long, and it didn't feel like I'm setting aside several hours on a blank night to play this game.
Right. That's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. It really wasn't. And, I mean, I really like what they introduce in the boss fights and on the Leviathan ship itself. It feels completely different from everything else in Destiny 2. And I like that because it's an experience you can only get when you go to fight this one boss or that one boss. So it really, keeps the game fresh. And I'm interested to see what the next raid is going to be from Bungie whenever that comes. So thumbs up on Destiny. And real quick, I know I'm talking a lot. Overwatch's Halloween event is going on. Dr. Junkenstein's Revenge has returned for a second year, but they have a new mode where it's endless, wave after wave after wave, and it stops once you guys die past the initial 12, and you get loot boxes and whatever. And also, give it up to Blizzard. I love the skins they've introduced for the Halloween events this year, particularly Symmetra. She is a demon dragon looking thing, and it is amazing. So if you haven't played Overwatch in a while, fire it up. Once again, they're like, with every update, every event, you don't have to pay for the Halloween DLC past, any loot crates you want to buy, so you can maybe crack open that epic skin you want. Fire it up. I love Overwatch, and they're just doing more of the same, which is awesome.
Yeah. I love that they keep it fresh like that. The season stuff is so much fun to me.
Oh, it's so great, and it breaks up the monotony because, I mean, as much as I like Overwatch, if you play it for a little bit, like if you sit down for 4 hours, like in one session, you've pretty much seen everything. But stuff like this, it keeps you coming back. And I'm a big fan of the Junkrat's Revenge, or Dr. Junkenstein's Revenge. It's very similar to Horde mode in Gears of War, which was my favorite multiplayer shooter mode of all time. So I'm all for anything that resembles Horde mode, and I get to play with these Overwatch characters that I love. I mean, it's like if Pixar made a first-person shooter. It's awesome. So go check out Overwatch, but I shouldn't have to tell you to go check out Overwatch at this point.
Right. Good call.
And I'm going to steal some of this hot and streamy to say that Supernatural Season 13, or I think it's 13, premiered last week.
It was Season 13, yes.
Yes. Last week, or this week. Was it this week? No, it was last week. Anyway.
It happened.
Regardless. It's pretty crazy already. I don't know if you guys are into Supernatural. I think they're starting to get towards an end. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, whether it be this one or the next one. My prediction is this one.
I thought they did say that the 13th season was going to be it because they wanted to wrap up on Lucky 13. But at the same time, this show has tried to end itself, twice, 3 times?
Yeah.
And CW comes back and says, please, we'll give you all the money. Please don't leave us.
Yeah, they throw money at them. They just roll up trucks full of suitcases.
Yeah, it's like Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki. You're like, yeah, we'd like to go do other roles, but CW keeps giving us these blank checks.
Yeah, they just hand us the checkbook and say whatever you want, whatever you want.
I don't fault them for it.
No, I don't blame him. But it started out pretty crazy. I highly recommend go ahead and get into this season if you're caught up. If you're not, catch up. And then
That's asking a lot. Catch up on Supernatural.
Well,
there is a lot.
Depends on where you left off.
For me, it's like I have 6 seasons to catch up on now.
And they're not short. They're not short episodes. They're not 30 minutes. They're an hour. They're an hour each.
Like at this point, I just feel like I need to go to a Wikipedia page and just read what I missed
You can
out
do that.
on.
You can do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I feel like you wouldn't get in a Wikipedia page. Like they would probably leave out because it didn't mean anything, but it kind of does. Because there's a lot of bottle episodes that have stuff in it, like that they talk about later or they bring up, earlier, whatever. The other thing I want to say premiered was Chronicles of Shannara. I haven't got to see this yet because my schedule has not allowed me to, but it is on a new network and it has premiered. I think they're two episodes in. So
now, is it like are they building on where it left off on MTV?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Supposedly that's what they're doing. There's introduction of new characters and they're trying to go forward with it, so hopefully it's something. I mean, the Shannara books are really long, and they jump big spans of time. So hopefully they'll be able to capture that. The writer is involved with the script, so you can't blame them for going away from his vision at all because he's the one in charge of it. So.
And I continue to hear nothing but good things about the Orville, surprisingly enough. So.
I like the Orville, but it is killing me inside to figure out what is he trying to do. Because I don't know what episode we're on, 5. This show continuously is trying to hit these moments of like an actual Star Trek show, of like discrimination, of like, slavery and backwards thinking.
Didn't recently they deal with like a gender's rights
Yes.
episode?
The short of the episode, I don't want to spoil it for you, but a race that is on the ship is only male. And the reason they're only male is when they have females, they correct it. So they have a male-dominated society. And this whole thing was about a baby that was born a female, and because this couple was on the Orville, one of them kind of was like, I don't want to do this. So... I'm not going to tell you it ends. It's really different, but there are a lot of TNG episodes that have the same themes and the same
social issues.
So it's kind of like he's taking from their book and just kind of doing a little different thing with it.
See, it's interesting you mentioned TNG because I see a lot of people online say this is just the next generation with humor in it.
Basically, I mean, Next Generation had humor, but it was very dry. This is blatant.
I mean, it had humor, but compared to like the dude who made Family Guy, there's
the
humor's probably going to be a little bit more noticeable, or at least it should.
Well, at one point, these two characters had a practical joke war, and one of them amputates the other one's leg in his sleep.
Hilarious.
And hides it on the ship and goes, ha, 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 isn't that funny? Got him. Got him. He was not happy about it.
Boom, roasted.
Boom, roasted. So yeah, I like the Orville. I just don't understand what I'm watching. Like you said, it's Family Guy. You're thinking this is going to be funny, and of course, what was the West movie he did?
A Thousand Ways to Die.
Yeah, Thousand Ways to Die in the Wild West or whatever. He that was continuously humorous all the time. So I don't understand what we're doing, especially from a sci-fi fan. Because the show looks amazing. The visuals are really good. The sets and everything like that. I mentioned this before. Maybe it was just a copy I watched. But I don't hear him walking around on wood floors on the ship anymore. But there's a lot of like, I don't know. When you see like, I've noticed here lately, like The Expanse is really big on this. But like, spaceships are made for like every part of it is used for something because you don't want to make endless space for people to stand. There's no reason for it. You're in space. This ship is huge on the deck. It's like, and I think at one point, just to give you some of the other humor, it's like I guess they're flying to their destination and they were watching Seinfeld. They're all sitting on the deck of the ship, and on the view screen they're watching an episode of Seinfeld where he loses the raisinette in the operating room. If you guys have ever seen Seinfeld,
was it a raisinette? I think it's a Junior Mint.
Junior Mint. Yeah, the fell in there, and one of the aliens failed to see what was so funny about that, but they're just sitting there, sipping drinks like a movie theater while they're supposed to be working, watching Seinfeld.
Nice.
So I mean that's what this show is like, and then they'll get into a firefight, and I don't know, it's crazy. I don't know how to say anything different about it. I'm watching, and I'm still watching Still trying to get caught up on Midnight Texas, which is an insane show.
Yeah,
Oh, and it's not nerd related, but I checked out the first 2 episodes of ABC's The Mayor. I think that's a pretty funny show, so I'm gonna continue to watch it.
The advertising was intriguing. I thought it was funny.
And it has Shirley from Community in it. That's nice.
she's awesome.
Oh, well, I guess this is the point where I lock myself out of and stream me with my stupid Peter Frampton talkback voice effect. Yeah. Yeah.
So if since you've Frampton yourself out,
Is that a term, or are we saying Frampton myself
Framped
out?
out,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Framp me out. I took it upon myself to watch the first episode of Inhumans. Oh God, where do I start? This show is so I tried to keep an open mind. I tried to watch it objectively, even though we have horrifically took it down several times, just based off previews and other people's thoughts. Mm-hmm. This show, I looked it up. Like I said in pre-show, if it had come on 10 years ago, it would have been pretty good. And I can associate to a movie that came out 10 years ago to what this really feels like, and that's Ghost Rider. It is It is a cageless Ghost Rider. You don't even get that.
That sounds terrible.
It is made so horrifically. It makes it right off the bat. We've got submachine guns in the jungle, and we're chasing a mutant, and then a guy in a costume. His head is green. He goes, "I'm Triton. I'm here to get you." I'm like, oh God. And then they run. I'm doing air quotes. Run through the jungle. Not even Clarence Creedwater style.
I was going to say, did
No
they have
CCR.
CCR in the back?
No,
Oh,
they
man.
didn't, and that would have been great. No, we have this dramatic, like, dun, 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 just very, I don't know, what I like to call epic music playing, and they're like firing machine guns, and they kill one of them, and then they kill that person, and they're both dead. I don't understand what we were doing, why we even had to see these people. Mm-hmm. And then we go back to the moon, where their base is. And one of the funny jokes is the humans have another Land Rover up here, and he comes in with like a broken rover and, throws it into this pile with other moon rovers because we're just launching moon rovers, evidently.
Okay.
And he's like, he was just beating up against the wall. Evidently, it's like a reflection or something. And he made a mistake by, is that his name, Gorgon?
Gorgon, yeah.
Gorgon takes his hoof and stomps it, and they get the hoof on camera very quickly, and no one will know that's a hoof. They're not expecting a hoof on the moon, and literally they cut to a scene where he goes, that kind of looks like a hoof. I'm like,
Oh,
are
God.
you freaking kidding me?
Ugh.
It's garbage, and we have a takeover right off the bat. Right off the bat.
Of course.
Right off the bat. The guy who plays Black Bolt would be great if he wasn't constantly having to do sign language and everybody have to repeat what he's saying to them. Oh, you want a cheese stick? He wants a cheese stick. I'm like, kill me now.
Well, isn't it kind of like I haven't seen it, so I'm only guessing. Isn't it kind of like dialogue with R2-D2?
Yeah.
Like bleeps and bloops,
But we
or
need-
talking with Chewbacca.
But
Like,
we don't
yeah,
need-
that's right, Chewie.
But was his name Daniels? Is that who did it? C-3PO?
Yeah, Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony
We
Daniels.
don't have Anthony Daniels to make that funny. Oh, you're so rotten.
Yeah.
Anything like that. We have Medusa, whose costume is atrocious. I mean, it looks like straight up Walmart bought. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'm not like a clothes guy, but it looks like it's made out of like dollar store fashion satin. And then her hair looks like a literal awful wig. It looks like a Halloween costume wig. We get to see it do some dancing and, strangle a guy and do some other things. It's just boring. I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then like the whole thing with this society is you have, and I'm sure it's in the comics, but is you have the royals, this royal family that have it so well, and then everybody else has to dig in the mines. That's what everybody else does. If you and they put you you come to an ascendancy or something like that, and they stick you in a chamber and they gas you with a crystal, and I guess that's the stuff we were talking about one comic book corner.
Terrigen mist.
Terrigen mist. So they take these crystals and they turn into Terrigen mist, and then you evolve to what you should be. And
That's your inhuman awakening.
so stupid. So they come out of the freaking TARDIS after they've been gassed, and one of them grows butterfly wings and goes, "Oh, a flyer! She's a flyer, everyone!" And then this other kid, who obviously had a premonition because the guy who touched him, he comes up and goes, "Oh, snakes were around you, and I saw this, blah, blah, blah." And they're like, "Yeah, I guess he doesn't really have anything." And they take him out there. And then you get to stand before the crowd, and they all, "What is your power?" And then she throws her wings out there, and then
It's like a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, exactly. The whole town is there, and they're like, "What is your power?" And he's like, "I don't know." To the mines with him, It's like, and then
That actually does sound very Inhumans from the comics.
I'm sure they're trying to grasp it, but the way it comes off looks so corny. I mean, this is Sci-Fi Presents. It really is. It's so bad. It's so worthless. And I mean, that first episode's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I watched an hour and a half
I
of
don't
this
know how you
mind
made
numbing.
it through it.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, I was on my phone a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was just like, this is so boring.
Checking the Twitters.
Oh God, I was doing anything. I was literally taking quizzes on Facebook. I mean,
Did you figure out which member of the Sex and the City cast?
I
you were,
was
Matt?
not. I did figure out which Seinfeld character. No, I'm just.
Are you a Charlotte? A Charlotte in Sex and the City?
I'm an Elaine. So
I don't think she was in Sex and the City.
she was not. She was on something. I don't know. I did not care about anything that was going on. And like I said, a lot more goes on. There's a takeover. There's this whole thing back and forth. You do get a steamy scene right at the first between Medusa and Black Bolt, and everybody. Oh my God! If they don't have their smart watches, all is lost. All is lost. You do get Lockjaw like crazy in there, and he's literally a transporter. That's all he's using for. Lockjaw, I want to go here. I want to go there. And I mean, they're lazy with it. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're abusing the piss out of this dog power. They're going over there and they're like, "Lockjaw, take me to the bathroom," kind of thing. And it's like down the hallway, and he takes them to the bathroom. It's just.
I would totally do the same thing though. Like
Oh, yeah.
Lockjaw, take me to the kitchen. Daddy needs a beer.
I'm not gonna lie.
Lockjaw, take me to the store. Daddy's out of beer.
It reminds me of the movie Jumper. Did you guys ever see that one? I think with Hayden Christensen, maybe. Was that the guy
I
that was in it?
remember vaguely.
He had that. He could night crawler around. He could teleport, kind of thing. Just poof poof. Bamf, as you say, bamf around.
You get bamf.
He could bamf around, and he abused the piss out of it. Like the remote was on the other side of the couch. He was like poof poof, and he would go and get it and come back.
Again, I would do the exact same way. And if you say otherwise, you're a lying liar.
I am not. I was actually going to make the standpoint. I like that movie for the realism of abuse of power because that is how we would use it. He bamps into a vault and gets money and bamps back out. And see, this is a better movie than this freaking show. It's just terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. Terrible. The whole turmoil is one brother. Like Black Bolt is fine with having this community on the moon, and they'll just figure it out as they go. And I got that from Medusa telling me everything he's saying. And I don't know how he's a king or whatever because everybody treats the royal family like garbage. Like they yell at them and tell them they're stupid. And I'm just like, who are these people? Are you in charge of them or not?
Yeah, really.
And
Put them in their place.
I don't know what this one guy's name is because I don't really remember or care to remember. He had like a lot of tattoos on his face, and he seemed to know like what was going to happen in the future.
Karnak?
Sure, that we'll go with that name. But he was like, at one point, they're standing there and they're doing the initiation of getting these people to be Inhumans, and he's like, "What does it all matter? Black holes are just going to come and swallow us all up in the end anyway." And then like Black Bolt turns around and goes like, gives him the shushing sound. He's like, "Oh, sorry," And then at one point this is your comic relief. I just want you to know. Is at one point they're at dinner and this girl is pouring his water and he goes, "You're so beautiful. I would be totally fascinated with you for a week, and then after that we would get bored with each other, and then your voice and your laugh would start to get on my nerves, and I would hate you and think about killing you probably most of the time." And then she like scampers away, and he's like, "Yeah, you got a real like Gorgon's like you got a real way with the women." That's your humor. That
I was
is
going to
your
say that pretty
humor.
much sums up my dating life. Wow.
Like he's just telling them how the relationship's going to go and like how downhill it goes real fast. And it's like, if this guy knows everything and there's so many like twists and turns, why does he tell anybody? It's so stupid. I don't understand any of it.
Yeah.
It's awful. It is awful. It makes me sad for this show. At the same time, all these actors are probably going to take a kick in the nuts from it.
Yeah.
Because
Sounds
it's
like
not.
they're not going to come out squeaky clean from
The
this
most
one.
interesting part of the thing is the brother who has no powers. Like, I think he's great. I'm like, well, this guy can act. I mean, Black Bolt probably could act if he was allowed to do anything but sign language. I mean,
Well, and that's the thing. It's like in Marvel Comics, Inhumans and particularly Black Bolt, like Black Bolt is one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel universe, but he's a mute. So it's really hard to make you be invested in this character because, like you said, you have to have Medusa or Karnak or Lockjaw there
Anybody.
to explain exposition.
I feel like, I hate the movie Congo. I'll just come out and say that. The book is spectacular. If you're a reader, get in it. But the movie is filth. And the reason it's filth is we give the sign language monkey a mechanical arm that's like, Amy wants more.
Amy, speak. Amy, speak.
I almost feel like Black Bolt needs it. Black Bolt wants food. Black Bolt wants food. Black Bolt wants Medusa. Anything like that.
You made reference to their smartwatches. Why didn't he just text or get an Instagram or something?
And that is where I am at. I want to like Black Bolt. He seems like a good actor. He's very strong. He has a good presence in the show. But every time he has to say something and they're like, oh, he says, I'm like, oh my God, if you verbatimly tell me what he just said, it's just terrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I was like, I'm going to go through this series and then I'll just, if it's poo-poo, I'll poo-poo on it. If it's legitimately savable, able to be saved, then I'll try to give my best foot forward because I suffered through Iron Fist and I thought I can suffer through this.
did.
I can do it.
And you had good things to say about Iron Fist.
It had great surrounding characters.
But it doesn't sound like
This
there's any
does
kind of
not
redeeming
have-
quality in this
I
show.
feel like the X-Men should bust in any point in time and save this movie. And I don't even care which X-Men. I don't care who. Any X-Men. Freaking Jubilee it up, baby.
Here comes Toad.
Yeah, Toad, Jubilee, Fantastico, anybody. I mean, obscure characters that get killed, like one comic, I don't care. Anybody. And it's
That's pretty
terrible. We
bad.
keep going to Hawaii in this thing, and I don't even care. And I love Hawaii. I've never been there. I want to be
go
there.
to Hawaii.
I do too. I would love to go there, not in this visual element. But it's terrible, guys. Don't do it.
Terrible.
It's horrible. Marvel really has. This bed is full of crap. They have crapped the bed so many times, and it's awful. I feel bad
Well,
for them.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying. I feel bad.
Well, I was going to mention it came out this week that ABC and Disney might be looking to part ways, saving money. So you do have to wonder if The Inhumans continues to just be bagged on because this is obviously an expensive show. So you have to wonder how long they're going to let this experiment go.
I don't know. I mean, they'll probably finish the season out, but it's going to be one of those. You remember that show about not mutants? Yeah. 10 years from now. Kind of like we remember Ghost Rider. Because I'm telling you, it's the exact same visual, like, effects and how they do things. And this dude had a grenade launcher, and they're like, take him out. And he fires it at Gorgon, and I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even care what happens to this guy.
That's pretty bad.
It is. It's terrible.
That's the thing that a lot of these shows, movies, whatever it is, I think they really miss the boat. And we talked about it with scary movies too. If you're not connected to the characters and you don't care about them, but that's what they miss the boat on. People do not care. They're not invested in a movie unless they care about the characters.
You don't get me wrong.
Or a
Inhumans
show.
is a hard sell because we know about it because we know about it. We're invested in Marvel. We're invested in comics. We're invested, in the whole genre. But the thing about it is, if I was a movie Marvel fan, and that's my only reference, for you to try to sell me this world is hard.
Absolutely.
Enough. And for it to be really bad is this awful. I mean, like, I'm going to be like, ugh, you know, let me just put Avengers back on. You know, that's where you're going to go with it. It's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Netflix probably really, really made it bad for a lot of series because they do such a great job.
They set a high bar.
They set the bar. Oh yeah, the bar is really high. But
Even for themselves.
Yeah, this isn't even in the race though. I mean, this is like over there getting water for all these people. This is terrible. I can't echo it enough. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Wow. Somebody needs to throw in the white towel for Inhumans.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it just started. Wow.
I know it's not good. The sets don't. I just don't care. Like
I'm glad you said it doesn't look good because everything I've seen in every still image, in every trailer, and everything we've seen about this just doesn't look like like a good show.
Yeah.
Like where'd the budget go?
It looks like any. I know I've said this 100 times, but Sci-Fi does a lot of good shows. They do. They have good shows, but some of their bad shows have really bad sets. And I'm trying to think of something that, you know how you can get past the set because the characters are so, you know, like you said, you're invested in them. So you're kind of like, okay, I can accept that's, you know, a big corrugated tube, you know, or I can accept that this, I'm sure in Doctor Who, not everything looks freaking immaculate.
Yeah.
You know, but you get past it. You're like, I don't care. You know, and I'm okay with the story. You will not get past this.
Yeah.
You will not get past this. My favorite is they keep going down to this one chamber to look on a view screen, and it's two people in Assassin's Creed hoods on either side of this view screen. I guess they're the TV knobs for this thing because they just sit there. They don't make any noises. They don't say anything. They just have the view screen up. And I'm like, what are we watching? What is happening? What are those people? What are they doing? Oh, more humor. They rip the batteries out of one of the rovers and go, still using lithium ion. When will they learn? I'm like, why is this joke in here? Why is this exactly your joke? Your joke was funnier just now than that joke was.
Wouldn't you love to be like in the writing room as all this stuff's getting like hammered out? Are people cracking up at these jokes?
They've got to be. They've got to be. This has got to be set. You know what? This show missed the mark. It should have been daytime TV because all those older community people who enjoy, you know, Murder, She Wrote and Matlock would probably get on board with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right up until they got to the teleporting bulldog.
Well, they love dogs. They've all got dogs. And they're like, oh, look at the cute little dog. And he teleports. Well, they wouldn't say teleport. Look at him go.
Look at him go.
And then, I mean, then they could just amp it up and put him in costumes. I mean, they could really take it to a new level with daytime TV.
Make it more of a soap opera. They could do that.
You know what? That's what it is. A lot of this is like soap opera costuming. You know that's not a house they're in, but you're like, okay, I'll accept it. Now, this is not a space station they're in. This looks nothing like what you've been walking around in, but I'll accept it.
Yeah, it's a big undertaking to try to use like a TV budget and try to create something like you've seen in the Marvel universe. Well, even for the Netflix shows, but also the movies. It's hard to do that. But we talked about
Look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, we talked about how the Gifted has
The Gifted
what
is
they're doing.
beautiful. I watched the second episode of that. Insanity. Insanity. It's so good. I don't like spoiling stuff, but I mean, there is a part in there where a person who can create portals starts having seizures and starts creating tons of portals all over the place. And things like that, things that come through them when the portal cuts off, it doesn't matter if you're all the way through. You get cut off. Like a truck like slid into one of them and the portal went away. Half the truck came into the area they were in. They had to dodge it and jump out of the way. It was crazy. Yeah. We got to see Sentinels, like actual Sentinels. We got to see like how that world and how the government deals with people with powers.
Well, you can just tell in the tone and like how you're talking about the Gifted versus Inhumans.
Yeah, do you
like,
hear this excited? Like I'm excited for the next episode. We get to see mutants in prison. They're not in their own prison. They're in freaking General Pop, baby. Yeah. And they got little shot collar. They got little Rutger Hauer shot collars on them. You know, when they use their powers. It's really cool.
Yeah. Watch this, not that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. Let me go down to this. watch The Gifted. Don't watch Inhumans.
There you go.
Boom, roasted.
Yep. I have another one to avoid, if I may.
Uh-oh. And this is disappointing when you told me this.
So, Landon, have you heard of this show Ghosted with Adam Scott and Craig Robinson on Fox?
Yeah, on Fox. Really good casting. It looks like it's good.
Exactly.
Get ready.
It looks like it's good. It looks like it would be good. They do a good job with the commercials. If you actually sit down and try to watch one of these shows, it is like a facepalm fest. You're like, what is happening? It is so bad. It's
This
not.
made my heart hurt.
It is. It makes me sad too because
Because it sounds like all the things I would love.
yeah, Adam Scott, you loved him in Parks and Rec, and
He's Ben Wyatt for crying out loud.
everything that you've seen
He
him
was
in,
the mayor of Icetown.
he really was. In this show, he is like a feeble, wimpy, like nerdy dude. They try to make him so nerdy, and he just like I don't know what it is. I'll just tell you, the writing in this show is bad.
Atrocious.
It's bad. There's no other way to put it. It's just bad. Craig Robinson, it's basically, like in The Office, I feel like he's kind of like, he's like a smooth, like funny, like cool
Hot
demeanor
Tub Time
kind of dude.
Machine is a stupid movie, but
Yeah.
he is freaking hilarious.
Yeah. They make him act so, he's like so stiff and unnatural in this show. He doesn't look like he's comfortable in his character. And essentially what you've got is it's supposed to kind of be like a buddy cop kind of situation, but they're dealing with supernatural elements. The show's called Ghosted. The first show is all about aliens.
What?
Huh.
Yeah. And I was like, well, where are the ghosts we were talking about?
Now, see, that would piss me off.
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a lover of watching all shows of supernatural and otherwise.
yeah.
But if I want to watch a ghost show, I want to watch a daggum ghost
I
show.
thought it was going to be supernatural. Well, at least the first episode, and even the second. Really, the second one is about a vampire cat kind of thing. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Writing's bad. Editing is bad. They don't even like wrap up stories or follow up on things that are happening. The first episode, they do not solve the case, and they just move on to the next episode. And it's like, all right, well, I guess. So essentially what happens is Craig Robinson is a security guard at a mall, and Adam Scott works at a movie store. No, a library. He works at a library. And something has happened to both of them that they used to have these illustrious careers. Adam Scott was a physicist at a university, and Craig Robinson used to be a detective with the police force, and he did something that got his partner killed. Not on purpose. It was totally accidental, but of course he, feels the weight of the world because
Survivor's
of it.
Guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he ends up, leaving the force, and now he's a security guard.
And that sounds funny to me. That sounds like a good premise.
They try to, essentially, they're living their lives, but they're a shell of their former self. This agency comes looking for them because this guy who gets kind of abducted and disappears mentions, to solve this case, we're going to need this guy and this guy. And so they go looking for them. They get kind of kidnapped. And then they're brought into like this facility, and they're told, okay, this stuff's going on, and we need you guys to help. They go out and do it, and that's how they kind of get brought into this secret agency that they're a part of now.
MIB.
Yeah, basically.
Or
But
X-Files.
but like the editing is so choppy. Let me tell you. I'll give you a really good example of where this show doesn't make any sense. They set up that Adam Scott's wife has disappeared.
Okay.
And it's been a while. Like, he doesn't know what happened to her. As part of the first episode, they find like there's some facility somewhere where these aliens are abducting people, and he keeps saying she's abducted, and no one believes him.
Right.
She's been abducted. Nobody believes him. Well, they find that this place where these aliens have been abducting these people, and they've got like security cameras, and he sees his wife, and he's like, "Oh, that's my wife. She's alive." That episode ends, and they just move on to the next case.
God.
Okay.
Would he not want to pursue that immediately? Wouldn't you think?
He would literally run down there. If this guy's been missing his wife for what, how long? A year?
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know the length of time. But
Okay, even a month.
Yeah.
If you're missing your wife
Yeah.
a week,
Yeah.
you would be like, "That's my wife." Boom, you're out the door. You're in your car. You're driving around.
Yeah.
And honestly, feels like they're, at least from what you're telling us, it sounds like they're purposely not resolving stories so they can pick them up later on in the season, which I don't know if I mean, obviously you want to have overarching stories, but at the same time, I don't know if that's such a smart play out of the gate.
Well, how would you explain though showing that like he sees evidence that whatever they're investigating in that first episode, he has found that's where his wife went, and then the end of it is like, so we're part of this force now. Hooray! Let's do a freeze frame high five, and then they move on to the next freaking
There's no
vampire cat.
resolution here. It sounds like real bad editing.
It's real crazy. Like, it's just, I don't know what is going on with that show. But we watched the first one, honestly, like, not even 10 minutes in. You know, I watched it with the family, and I'm looking around. I'm like, is this good? And no one liked it, but my wife's like, we should keep watching it because it's got some silly parts. And it does have some silly moments.
Right.
And I was like, I didn't even really want to watch the second episode. We ended up watching it, and it didn't get any better. The only good thing that came out of the second episode was it introduced a phrase to my family that my kids had not heard before. Apparently, Craig Robinson is like, since he got his partner killed, his partner had a son, he's trying to help raise that little boy. He's trying to be around for him and stuff. Well, the mom's like, well, he's going to take him out for Halloween, and the mom says, he better not come back tonight learning any new curse words. And he's like, what? I don't teach him curse words. And she's like, yeah, the last time you brought him home, he was saying tiggo bitties. First of all, not a curse word.
No, not a curse word.
No.
But second of all, like, my kids had never heard that phrase before, and now that has made its way into the vernacular
Nice.
of my house.
Nice.
So thanks, Ghost.
Yeah, thanks, Ghosted.
Ghosted.
And-
Yeah.
My daughter's walking around saying tiggo bitties all the time because she thinks it's the best thing she's ever heard. So
Just to disappoint you some more, because I'm already disappointed. I looked up the writers on this. He said the writing was just atrocious. Okay, so these 4 guys have written this. I'm guessing Blake is a guy. Tom Gormakian, Kevin Eaton, Blake McCormick, Carl Tart. Never heard of any of them. But the guy who's written the most has only written That Awkward Moment. That's where, I don't know what kind of movie that was, but that's the guy that's written 4 episodes. Then we get into these other people, and you've got like Workaholic, The Late Show, Desperate Housewives.
Is that which one is that?
That is Kevin Eaton.
Kevin Eaton, right? So he wrote for Dave Letterman.
Yeah.
and actually, Workaholics is a good show.
Workaholics is a
Workaholics is
hilarious
fun.
show. Okay, Blake McCormick, Rush Hour, Strange Calls, Cougar Town. Think this is probably your problem. This might be your cancer. But
Cougar Town is actually an underrated show.
sure.
I'm
We'll
not
take your
kidding.
word on that one.
Well, I will definitely. He wrote for King of the Hill for
Yeah.
a while, so not too bad. I mean, you got 1 out of 5, and then Carl Tart, Comedy Bang Bang, Party Over Here, Jimmy Kimmel.
Really, it's interesting because actually, that doesn't sound too bad. Except
Yeah.
the first guy I hadn't really heard of. Like I've never seen
Evidently,
that awkward moment.
Yeah, evidently no one else had either. Mad TV. I mean,
I feel like there's evidence
Second
here that they
City.
can write funny stuff. It's a lot of comedy people.
it is, and it's a lot of skit people. So when you say there's no resolution, I'm wondering if they're just like, oh, we'll just skit write it.
But I know Landon made a good point. I mean, I know they're trying to set up stuff that they're going to overarching themes, but you can't just ignore what you just put out there and act like he didn't. Adam Scott should be like almost hard to have a conversation with at this point. He'd be thinking, "Can we just go get my wife? No, we got to take care of this vampire cat." Like, I don't know. You can't just be like, "Okay, well now it's a normal day. He knows his wife is in prison with aliens."
Don't you hate it when that happens?
The guy who has dramatically, I guess, directed Portlandia is your director on this. The other director has done Shameless, Marin, The Good Place, Santa Clara Diet.
So the people behind the scenes,
Glow.
they have the chops.
Yeah, there should be no reason that this should be failing.
You know, maybe we need a second opinion on this. There's only a couple episodes out. If anybody out there has watched this show, I'd love
Absolutely.
to know what you think about it. I just feel like it feels slapdash. It feels thrown together, and it's like, hey, we've got a couple funny people. Let's write some silly jokes with a silly premise, and
Yeah.
and people will love it.
Don't get me wrong. Did you guys? I don't think you watched it, but I think Landon, you said you had watched the one, the superhero TV show that they canceled.
Oh, on NBC, Powerless.
Powerless.
Yeah, Powerless was funny.
It was goofy, and there was no resolution hardly to anything. I mean, they kind of wrapped up some things, but a lot of it was just like, okay, but they didn't have any like missing people, and like there they are. I guess we won't worry about them. Yeah. That was fun, but they canceled that one.
Yeah, I don't think this one's going to make it. I think this
It's on Fox, of course. It's not.
It's going to
No,
be,
it's on Fox.
It might even be like a mid-season cancellation. I just can't imagine. I would be shocked if it
Fox
goes much
the
longer.
Executioner.
Honestly, if we're going to do a watch this, not that, you got to watch Last Man on Earth and just avoid Ghosted. Last Man on Earth
Yeah.
is so good.
Now you ask people to watch it though. Watch the first episode. Do not watch the first episode of Inhumans. You don't have an hour and a half of your life to give away. You don't. It's a short time you're on this earth. Do not spend it there.
Luckily, you didn't go to IMAX and pay to see that.
Oh my god! And that was what was really killing me. I was like, people paid to see this.
Yeah, on a
in
giant screen.
gigantic screen.
A few people paid to see this.
Like people that were like boss's sons, I would imagine they were like, go to this screening, Ralph.
Ralph.
Okay.
Richie Rich.
I was thinking Ralph Wiggum.
I'm just thinking Richie Rich because I feel like you had to have disposable income to feel like you should spend your money on that.
You know, it'd be a good show. We were talking about Fox and them laying the axe on a lot of stuff. Wouldn't that be a good show to be to watch a show about how Fox just gets rid of TV left and right?
They're the opposite of Netflix. Give everything the axe.
Yes, let's say here's the red light.
Yep. We're going to give you a pilot, another episode, and you're canceled.
Yeah, 3 and out, baby.
No, we're going to give you one segment, and you're canceled in your first commercial break.
Oh my god, that would be how I'd want that show to run too. It's like, go ahead and tell them to cancel it. They're just filming it. Yeah, just let them get about 10 minutes into filming, and then tell them to empty that studio out. Get them out. I think that would be fun. Maybe that should be a poll. What do you want brought back? What do you want canceled?
Firefly.
Yeah.
Always Firefly. I
Done
think
it.
Firefly is always the answer.
I think you're going to lose cast members before that happens. You've already lost one.
Hey, you know what? Book was written off the ship anyway, and I'm not
there
going
you
to tell
go.
you what happened in Serenity.
That's
so.
fine. Don't do that. I've seen Serenity. Sort of.
I saw a book in something the other day. I think it might have been on Friends. He was playing a character.
Well,
Yeah,
he was a
been friends
doctor.
a handful.
he's a doctor.
Yeah,
That's
that's
nice.
right. He was like a psychiatrist or something, I think. And I saw him, and it was like seeing Doug Benson. It was like, hey, there's that guy.
There's that guy from the thing. Well, I guess, are you done with Ghosted?
Yep. Done with
Okay.
this.
See, I don't watch
I'm
that
gonna
either.
ghost it. I'm just
You're
not
gonna
gonna
ghost
text
it,
it.
yeah.
Not gonna call.
We can tack this into October as horrific shows.
Yeah. Start a list.
Yeah. Ooh. The boo list. Boo this show.
The boo list.
So who won the what won the polls? Put it that way, as if I didn't know.
Well, let's take a look. And in order to do that, I'm going to go to our Twitter account. That's @nerd_news_cafe. Like we said, each week we put out a poll or sometimes a no-shirt shout-out on Thursdays. You can go out there and weigh in, as it were. Last week we asked the question, based on the conversation we had with Landon, that Ernest Scared Scoot Stupid actually scared him quite a bit as a child.
Yep. Terrifying.
Was there a scary or not so scary movie that freaked you out when you were a kid? This week, Nightmare on Elm Street brought home the title. 57%.
I kind of figured that. That was a more mainstream movie.
Yeah.
You know, the more I thought about it, we shouldn't have let you include Nightmare on Elm Street because the first one was legit scary.
No,
And
it is
then
not.
later on, it leaned into Freddy Krueger is just a sociopathic Bugs Bunny.
I don't know, man. I've
It's
watched the
pretty
first one
corny.
recently a couple of times.
I
and
watched
it's-
it with the kids. It's pretty
I
corny.
watched it as a movie to introduce like my daughter to horror movies, and I was like, "We're gonna watch this one. It's really scary." And the whole time, she never once felt she was like, "This is ridiculous."
It was ridiculous, especially at the end where the person gets pulled through the freaking.
That's my favorite part. Through that little door window,
Johnny
Johnny Depp
Yep.
gets sucked in.
So stupid.
That was awesome.
And then they get in the car and they're like, like so stupid.
My favorite part, my favorite Freddy gag in that movie is when he's walking down the alley and he's got the noodle arms.
Oh yeah.
And he's scraping his claws on the sides of the. That's so goofy.
I think out of all of them, there was one where a girl gets trapped in a bug trap, and he picks it up and goes, "Oh, looks like you're in there," and she's got like insect arms and stuff, and then he crushes her, and I'm like, "That's hilarious."
It's more
Guys, the Roach
Beetlejuice.
Motel.
It's
Yeah,
more
it's the Roach Motel.
Beetlejuice than it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like that. That's kind of the horror in that movie is like Beetlejuice inspired. I feel like.
I could see that. It's the Beetlejuice we didn't get. It's
Yeah.
the second and third, fifth.
Don't say his name again. We've already said it twice.
Oh. Beetle guys.
There we go.
So anyway, congratulations to me for winning the poll this week, even if it was a cheat.
Yeah, you. I never win.
I demand a recount. I don't think it'll do me any good.
The
But
Russians were involved.
Now I think we did get a couple replies.
Oh, did we get some add-ons?
We did. Eric Lehman weighed in, and he said that if you want to go completely not scary, in the 88's The Blob scared him a lot.
I could see that.
yeah, no, I could see that.
I could see that.
And then my wife also voiced her
My wife.
opinion on this one, and I didn't know she was going to come out and let the world know about this, but E.T. scared the crap out of her,
What?
She's not the only one I've ever heard that
and
from.
she
Okay,
she
she
will
wins.
not
She
watch
wins.
she will not watch E.T. to this day because she thinks that he is a terrifying little monster.
Then she can't watch the prequels on Star Wars.
I know he does make an appearance, or
and his
not
three-
him, but
him and
like
his two friends.
Yeah, it's the race.
It might
of
be him. He might have grew up.
ETs is there. Yeah, it's time to pick a winner from the No Pants poll this week. So Matt, give me a drum roll. The winner of the new e-comic will be David Crepes.
Yeah.
Congratulations!
Yeah,
I believe
my
you've
boy.
been a previous winner, but you won again.
You won on odds.
You did. This week we're going to give away Black Bolt number 2. We gave away Black Bolt number 1 previously, but I felt like this was a good one to give away because of the Inhumans talk this week, the destruction,
Dissing.
the attack.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. Read this comic. Don't watch that garbage.
Yeah, it's a good comic,
And
and
it won't take you 90 minutes to read.
no, it won't.
No.
And then you're going to get a bonus digital comic, which is the first issue in the Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection, Craven's Last Hunt.
Ooh, that's a
Ah.
great book.
So,
Craven's Last Hunt, like maybe one of the best Spider-Man stories ever told.
so nice. So, whether you're an Inhumans fan or not, you're getting a cool Spider-Man comic.
That's pretty cool, man. That's a good
Dang,
win.
I want that digital comic. Give it to me.
You didn't retweet.
Oh yeah, touche.
So, this week we were talking about what we were going to do, and I think we want to do something a little bit different. We've been pushing our forums out there for a while, and we really want to try to start driving some traffic over there. So, I suggest that the way that we pick our winner is going to be based on forum signups. So, and so far we've had a couple of people sign up on the forums so they can interact with us. They'll be in this too. So this will be anyone who's signed up to date. But if you would like to be entered to win an e-comic next week, we will draw the names based on the people who have signed up for the forum. And you don't have to post anything if you don't want to, but just be a member. And, this is really to drive some traffic over there, start building that community, because that is what it's all about, my friends. And I did want to just mention that Andrew View gave us a comment on the episode 65 coffee, chicken tenders, and a hammock episode. And
What the hell type of name is that? What do we do on this podcast?
I don't know. Who knows? But he was talking about the DC announcement of that the movies going forward were going to be their own thing and not necessarily be crossover kind of things. And he said, regarding DC announcement, I interpret it as we will probably make some more stinkers, so don't give up on the future DC after that. Whereas a master storyline bombs and you lose future customers, and he said Transformers comes to mind. Anyone who actually hears the announcement already by now knows not everything will be connected, and with Justice League due out soon, it makes me nervous. So it is true. It's like they're hedging their bet a little bit, worried that Justice League isn't going to be the huge hit they hope. And so they're like, but don't worry, that won't be an indicator because future movies won't even be connected to that.
And that's a good point on the Justice League that I didn't even think about making. So good on you, Andrew.
Always the
thanks,
thinker.
Yeah. So that's what we'll do. So as we mentioned, we do have the forum. You can get there through the website. We got the Twitter at nerd_news_cafe.
And we have talked about a lot today that you can, and Tuesday, that you can hit up both episodes in their directed forum titled, or you can hit us up in general discussion. I think we got a general discussion. I thought I see it. I think I've said something, maybe.
And what else do we have?
Well, we have Twitter, which we always are welcome your tweets from, at nerd_news_cafe. You can always go to nerdnewscafe.com to locate the forums, to get a part of this contest, where we have our ugly mugs and a lot about us that probably is more embarrassing than we care to admit. You can also hit us on the US of Tubus. We do throw it up there in case you've got some blockers at work. That way you can always stream free and clear an episode, which is not hard to find. Also is Nerd News Cafe on that. Also, I think, if you do have an email that maybe you have a request or something you don't want to put on the forums, we do hope you put it on the forums, but you can hit us up at nerdnewscafe@gmail.com. And as always, we just dropped a episode of Tracking Trek Podcast the day before. If you want to hear me and Thomas go over that episode about that thing with that guy and that laser and space bears, if you want to know what that reference is to, you can hit us up on that show, Tracking Trek Podcast. You can hit us up on Twitter, what you thought about it, at Tracking Trek Pod. I don't think I have any other way for you to find that. Watch Star Trek Discovery. It is weird.
Well, all right. That's a sell job.
It's just weird.
Jay, what you got for us?
I saw a cool YouTube video of a rabbit scoring touchdowns in the Stanford football game the other day. That was pretty cool. So go check out that on YouTube. And I'm at the Croots on Twitter.
All right. I am twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ. That's where you can find the latest musings from me, 140 characters at a time. I also run a website, buttmunchchips.com, buttmunchchips.
Sit on your butt.
And much.
That is where you can find exclusively Game of Thrones talk, a.k.a. GOT Talk. That's where me and my buddy Hunter East, we break down each episode of HBO's award-winning series Game of Thrones. We have completed Season 7. We're in somewhat of a holding pattern. It's like we're flying on dragons waiting to get our landing orders because we don't know when it's coming back, nor does HBO. But in the meantime, we do have the Butt Munch Chips Variety Pack. That's more of a conversation podcast where me and people just sit down and talk about one specific topic. The most recent episode to post again, includes my buddy Hunter East. We talk about video games, how we've gotten to this point, and where we'd kind of like to see games go in the future. And it is an ongoing conversation. So if you hear it and you have a thought on it, hit me up on Twitter. Again, twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ, or heck, put it in the forums. We need the traffic there. So for Matt Weaver and Justin Krutzinger, my name is Landon Doan. We thank you for joining us on another edition of Nerd News Cafe. Stir it up. You've been great. We've been Nerd News.